Good evening and welcome to your slightly delayed 2064 Perfect League World Series coverage. As always, I am your host, DRC, and tonight I have the great honor and privilege of capping another great week of the Perfect Team Main League play. And tonight, what we're going to do is we will have play-by-play and analysis as we crown a new champion tonight. And we've got a great matchup. A great matchup for you tonight between the Green Dragons and the Silvers. Two teams vying for their first ever Perfect League World Series. So someone is getting their 8-inch trophy for the very first time as a result of tonight. So some housekeeping items. If you look at the bottom of your screen, you will see all of the Puma victims of the week. Now, what is a Puma victim? That is someone who found themselves on the wrong side of the relegation line. Perfect League is a merciless beast, and the mechanism by which these teams are removed from it and sent right back down to Diamond is the relegation Puma. And he took a big bite out of all the teams you see here with the REL next to it. So these teams will head back down to Diamond to compete and look to win another Diamond League to earn their way back up. Whereas everyone else who made the playoffs, they have earned the opportunity to come back next week and give it another shot. So what we're going to do, and we've got 12 minutes before our first sim here, we are going to preview these two teams, and then we're going to pick who we think is going to win. So let us start with the Yukon Silvers. So Yukon Silvers, we're going to go a little bit faster because we've got a little bit less time than we normally do. But we'll breeze through it here. So Yukon Silvers, first we look at run scoring and run prevention. So from a run scoring perspective, the Silvers were 6th out of 20. So above average and well above average at 763. From a run prevention perspective, they're at 5th with 656 overall. And so the next thing we want to look at is, well, were they doing that with a strong defensive effort? And the answer in this case is yes. We see a defensive efficiency over 0.7, which is very strong. We see a team zone rating over 7, good for 4th in the conference. So a team that excelled at run prevention and did so on the backs of solid defensive play. Now let's jump over and look at the home road split. At home, the Silvers, dominant, downright dominant. A near 700 win percentage this season, 56-25. Which counterbalanced what was some struggles on the road. Silvers only 35-46 away from their friendly confines. And then as we look at their progression through the season, we see some real high highs and some real low lows. A 21-8 April, chased by a 20-8 May, only to see a couple of struggle bus months. A 12-15 June, and a 10-17 August. So you had some hot and cold for this team for DC Cubs Yukon Silvers. Let's look at the ballpark that they call home. So we've got a righty cheese build here. What does that mean? It means that we're maxing out the right-handed batting average, we're maxing out right-handed home runs, and we are minimizing lefties. Now, in terms of his editorial discretion for the gaps, DC Cubs is choosing to do 1.2 for the doubles and the triples. So let's look at some of the decisions on the players. And this is a fun build. There's a lot of cards here that are interesting, that are exciting, that aren't necessarily used by everyone. So let's call out a couple of them here. We've got a new Honus. You see how New Honus did this year. A little bit lower on the on-base percentage than you'd like. Not slugging the ball as much as you'd like as well. But Honus is going to add a lot of value with his range and defense, as well as his base running. Pudge and Campy is the catcher platoon for this team. We've got Pudge playing against right-handed pitching, and then Roy Campanella facing off against lefties, and I'd expect we see Pudge coming in late for defensive substitution. We've got a new Nap Lajoie. Had an incredible season. 311, 352, 515 on the triple slash line. Good for an 867 OPS to go with 24 bombs. A 396 BABIP over the course of the season. We've also got a brand new Shoeless Joe. So I had wondered how long it would take us to get the new Shoeless Joe in the Perfect League World Series, and it didn't take us long at all. This card was dropped a couple of days ago, and here he is, trying to win his team a Perfect League World Series. So as you see here, no stats during the season for this Shoeless Joe, as the Yukon Silvers picked them up rather recently. As far as everyday lefties, we've got Cobb, Bonds, and Shoeless. We only have, or at least last sim we had, I believe it was Gwynn playing versus righty. We'll see how the lineup manifests itself over the course of the series here. From a pitching perspective, you've got, as is typical for a righty cheese build, you've got righties. This team had Clemens, Pedro, Walter, and Greg Maddux doing the majority of the starts over the course of the season. Warren Spahn was heavily involved, though. 100 innings pitched here, mostly in relief. You see 6 starts there. I'm guessing that those occurred on the road. And then from a bullpen perspective, and we've seen some changes here, because Glavin was on this roster a sim ago, and Glavin is no longer on it. So I think that we see DC Cubs setting up this lineup and optimizing for the series to come. Let's follow the Yukon Silvers path to this point. So a 3-0 win over the Quarantiners in round 1. A 4-2 win over Brooklyn in round 2. And then taking out 2-time Perfect League champion API and his Manchego Cheese in the 3rd round in the semis. From a historical perspective, the Silvers have been to Perfect League, have played in the Perfect League 7 weeks, including 4 chances into the playoffs. They are looking for their first ever Perfect League World Series. Let's jump to the other side with the Brick Green Dragons, operated by Bender Guy 1. So from a run scoring and run prevention, we see a very different build, a very different way that this team operated than the one we just analyzed there. This team didn't even break 700 runs scored over the course of the season, only at 692. However, this team clearly wins with defense and run prevention. So you see they were second best in the conference with only 670 runs allowed. From a defensive efficiency perspective, you see a better zone rating than the Silvers had, a worse defensive efficiency, still a pretty solid defensive team. Now on the road and home splits, you see some funny business over here. At home, the Green Dragons were actually underwater, 40 and 41, losing more games than they won. On the road, they were able to make up the delta there as much as they needed to get into the playoffs with a 44 and 37 effort, which is no easy task in the Perfect League. And you notice they were fueled by a red-hot September. A 17-9 September is what vaulted them into this playoffs to begin with. So let's look at just how close that was. So the Brick Green Dragons were the very last team in the NC, beating out the Richmond Rifles, the Osgood Senators, and the Utica Blue Sox, all 2 games trailing behind. And so without that 17-9 hot September, the Green Dragons aren't even in this conversation, and the relegation Puma is snacking on them as we speak. Let's look at the ballpark. So we've got a unique one here. It's not a cheese park. It's not a lefty park or righty park. It's a unique one. We've got the slightest of buffs to average. We've got a good little buff to the gaps here. 1.2 plus on the doubles, nearly 1.2 on the triples. And then the homers are brought down. Aligned for both lefties and righties down at 0.925. So this park here is going to favor the ball in play. From a player perspective, we've got another team running the Pudge Campy platoon at catcher. Although we see that Pudge is in both lineups now. So that could show that the Bender guy's got a preference for Pudge to run out every game. And we'll see if the Sims show that. We've got a Pop Ozzy platoon at shortstop. So Pop playing against righties, Ozzy playing against lefties. And then we see against lefties, in comes Hank Aaron and Ricky Henderson on platoons as well. Three minutes to the sim. Let's keep hustling here so we can get through all what we need to do and not be delayed on the sim. So from a pitching perspective, you've got a rather traditional deployment of arms here. So 5 traditionally deployed starters over the course of the season. Your 4 horsemen that we see most teams run, which is Spawn, Pedro, Walter, and Maddox. And then their 5th option that they're adding in here is Roger Clemens. Let's see what flavor of Maddox we got. And it's the 100 legend. And then in that pen, we only have 1 lefty. So just David Price out there handling those tough left-handed bats. And then we've got Feller in a setup role, which most people normally have him in middle relief. So we'll see if that comes into play. We'll see if Feller finds himself in a high-leverage late-game moment against some tough left-handed batters. All right, let's look at the path. So how did we get to this point for the Green Dragons? Round 1, they take down Perfect League champion QUC and his Golden Gophers. Round 2, they take down the Highlanders, the New York Highlanders, run by Aster 31 in a 5-game series. And then in round 3, they take down the Cutthroats, the Cartier Cutthroats, 4-2. From a historical perspective, Bender Guy has not been as PEL traveled as some of the other teams we've seen recently on these streams. Just his 3rd week in the Perfect League and 2nd opportunity in the Perfect League playoffs. So looking to turn Perfect League existence into Perfect League glory rather quickly here. So who is going to win and in how many games? Who is your pony tonight? Brick Green Dragons or the Yukon Silvers? Who's going to win and in how many games are they going to do so? If you look in the bottom right corner of your screen, you'll see the direct matchup analyzer for some hand-selected statistics here. You see that Yukon has a clean sweep. Yukon leads in average, on-base percentage, slugging, OPS, defensive play percentage, ERA, FIP, WHIP, and favorable rating from a matchup perspective. So the raw numbers might suggest that Yukon is favored in this gathering here today. M-Dub's got Bender in 6, Yukon in 6, Yukon in 5, Bender with an easy win 4-0, Yukon in 7, Bender in 5, Yukon in 6, Dragons in 6, Yukon in 4. Yuka's giving it to me in 2. Yuka keeps trying to give me wins in these Perfect League World Series, and it's just not happening. I would need to make it at some point to be eligible. I believe that's how that works. We'll have to confirm that, though. All right, we got done just in time. In a minute's time here, we should have our Game 1 sim. So let me make sure I'm hiding scores to not ruin any of the drama. And then we will get this party right underway. And I believe we're a sim behind. So instead of being on day 214, I think we will be on day 213 when this comes in. But if anyone in Perfect League sees that I'm off on that estimation and corrects me, that would be great. All right, let's go ahead and blind out the screen. You can still see my bald head as I pull down the sim. Keep those predictions coming. Let's see who's going to nail it. I don't know that anyone had Crazy Katie in 4 last week. Shoeless Joe in 6. It will be fun to see Shoeless Joe play this series. We'll see if he gets himself a highlight, gets himself an at-bat in a big moment. Oof with a mention of the Oregon Trail, which I absolutely love. I remember playing the heck out of that game when it was a... gosh, what were those discs called? The ones that were really big and kind of fragile. Not floppy disk. What was that called? Yeah, I think Port Dog's got it. The 5 1/4. 5 1/4 disc. 5 1/4 floppy. Bender guy picking against himself and going with UConn. You have died of dysentery, typhoid fever, snake bite. That's what I should have quizzed kidneys on OK Boomer, OK Zoomer. All the different ways you can die in the Oregon Trail. Oh, oof, I know that struggle. You've hunted 1,300 pounds of meat, but you can only carry back 100. Just a huge waste. Huge waste. We've got our first sim in. It is time to party. So let's set this baby up. We're actually going to show it this time. Anyone who joined us last week know that the first inning of Game 7 sim I had in radio mode because I didn't click back to the video. All right, so what do we have? What can we glean from what we see on the screen here? We're in the Silver Stadium, and as we know, that is a righty cheese park. So righties are favored, both on the average and home run here in this park. We've got the UConn's Pedro Martinez on the mound, and he's going to be facing a lineup with only 4 lefties in it. So he's going to get some same-side batters here, but those batters are going to be juiced by this park. Let's get this game and this series underway. 2064 Perfect League World Series coming at you. We start with Tris Speaker. The wind and the pitch, and that's a swing and a miss. And the UConn Silvers start off Game 1 of this Perfect League World Series in style with a forward-facing K for Tris Speaker. We move to the top of the second, and Pedro's found a touch of trouble here. He's got Brooks Robinson at the dish with Ty Cobb and Willie Mays aboard with nobody out. Pedro looking for a double play here. The wind and the pitch. Line drive, base hit to right field. Failed it, throwing it in. Runner will hold at third. Shoeless Joe Jackson was quick to that ball, came up firing, and was able to convince Ty Cobb to hold his ground at third base. And they are now loaded for Pudge Rodriguez, which gives us a great opportunity to use our matchup analyzer for the first time here today. So let's set it up. The way that this matchup analyzer works is we put in our hitter, and we put in our pitcher, and we set all the particulars up and then see how good or bad of a matchup it is for each. So as you see in the bottom right corner of your screen, we've got Pedro Martinez set up with a split of right-handed batters, and we've got Ivan Rodriguez set up with a split of versus right-hand pitching. And as the picture tells you here, this matchup here heavily favors the pitcher. Pudge Rodriguez really struggles against same-side pitching to the tune of a -32 bat value over the course of 600 plate appearances, whereas Pedro can be downright dominant versus righties. But what will happen here tonight as the Green Dragons are threatening in the second inning? Wind in the pitch. Ground ball to third. To second one. He'll have to hold it there. So able to get a fielder's choice, went to second thinking two. Didn't try to go home to get the speedy Cobb, so a run scores. Put the Green Dragons on the board with the first run of this World Series. And Pedro's troubles continue there, but we do see that Pedro gets out of it. No further run score from that rally in the second inning, but we've got a new rally, and this one coming to you here in the fifth. Pop Lloyd has reached base. He's on second base with one out, and Hank Aaron is here at the plate. Question in the chat from EVC in NYC asking if Triss is a typical leadoff hitter at this level. Triss absolutely can be a typical leadoff hitter at this level. I see more often people using either Ty Cobb or the new Wade Boggs special edition for that role. But Triss is absolutely not out of place as a leadoff hitter in the Perfect League World Series. So let's set up this at bat here. We've got Hank Aaron at the dish. Hank Aaron, a very dangerous hitter, but does most of his damage versus left-hand pitching. He bats here with one away. Swinging, there's a line drive left field. Fielded by Ty Cobb. He comes up throwing. Pop Lloyd's going to try to score. Safe! Make it 2-0 Green Dragons on an RBI single from Hammer and Hank. Very next batter is Tony Gwynn. But as the box score will tell you, or as the lineup card will tell you, this isn't just any Tony Gwynn. This is Fire Tony Gwynn. And we've seen time and time again that players adorning that fire emoticon are doubly dangerous on screen. And we'll see if that holds true here as Tony Gwynn bats in the fifth. Wine in the pitch. And he gets into one. Driven deep to right, off the top of the wall, Hammer and Hank, motoring around second. He's at third. He's around third. He's going to try to score. The throw will go to third. That's an RBI triple from Tony Gwynn, who missed a home run by about an inch or two. Make it 3-0 Green Dragons here in the fifth. So the highlight engine has skipped some scoring for us. It was 3-0 just a moment ago. Now it's 5-2. We're also in the seventh. So Green Dragons still winning, but each team has added 2 runs. Green Dragons at the plate now, batting against the Yukon Silvers' Mariano Rivera. And they'll lead off this seventh inning with Ty Cobb. That ball hit well. Deep right center. It might be. It could be. It is. A home run off the bat of Ty Cobb. 439 happy feet for the visitors. A stunned home crowd here in Yukon as the Delta just grew to 4 runs. Bottom 7 now. Silvers need to get themselves back in this game. They're going to be looking to do so against Rocket Roger Clemens. A new special edition card as of about a month ago. Brooks Robinson leads off here with one away. And Brooks Robinson gets into one. Driven deep to center. That ball's gone. 447 feet to straightaway center from Brooks Robinson, and he's got the crowd back into it. The Silvers and their faithful fans having visions of a late game comeback here in game number 1. Still bottom 7, and the rally continues. We have Trevor Hoffman on for the Brick Green Dragons. We've got Pudge on second, and we've got Ty Cobb on first. Let's get Nap's stats up here to see what to expect in this heavyweight matchup here. Trevor Hoffman facing the franchise versus right. Knapp versus right as well. Full count here in the 7th. Crowd on their feet. Looking for a big batted ball here. There's the pitch. That ball crushed into the left center field gap. It's going all the way to the wall. Pudge will score. Cobb around third. He's going to try to score and will without a throw. The lead is now cut to 6-5. Silvers rallying here in the 7th with 2 away. Shoeless Joe Jackson gets his first ever highlight on the Perfect League World Series broadcast waves. And he's batting here with 2 away and Knapp on second. The pitch, swing and a miss, strike 3. That ends the rally here in the 7th, but the Silvers did a ton to bring themselves back up into this game. 3 runs on 3 hits now make this a nail-biting 1-run lead that the Green Dragons will be tasked with either adding to or protecting. They will first try to add to it here in the top of the 8th. And we'll start off with my favorite. We'll start off with Pop Lloyd. We'll show you Pop Lloyd versus right and then Mariano Rivera versus left as we set up this leadoff at bat here in the 8th inning. Advantage to the pitcher here as Pop Lloyd, not much more than some empty batting average. Wind in the pitch, and Lloyd gets into one, deep to right. That ball is out of here. Take your empty batting average and shove it, says Pop Lloyd to the broadcaster, as he has given the Green Dragons a much-needed insurance run here in the top of the 8th in a very unlikely display of power. A little fence-scraping 370-foot home run makes it 7-5 Brick Green Dragons. Still in the top of the 8th, Rivera trying to recover after giving up that leadoff homer to Pop Lloyd. The very next batter is Tris Speaker. Wind in the pitch, and Tris Speaker gets into one. Is he doing it? Uh-oh, it's sour cream and guac time. Because Tris Speaker has busted out an Oppo Taco. 427 momentum-changing feet off the bat of Tris Speaker to the opposite field. Bottom 8 now. The Silvers, after bringing the game to within 1, see a couple of solo shots, expand it back to a 3-run lead. Now they try to claw back against face of the franchise, Trevor Hoffman. First into the box is Hornsby with Fire Maze on deck. Wind in the pitch. A little looper left field, base hit. Hornsby starts the 8th with a ringing single to left. Next up is that Fire Willie Mays. Gotta respect the fire. We see it week in and week out. They show up on highlights. They hit balls over fences. They change games. What does Willie have in mind here in the 8th? The pitch. That ball belted! Deep left field! Gone! Here come the fireworks. Here come the fans. A bomb to left field, 407 feet. Just what the doctor ordered for the Yukon Silvers. The Silvers have been battling all game long. They keep getting close. Now, can they ever get there? Can they ever tie it up for good? They're going to try to do it right here. And the fans are into it. Silver fans on their feet for this full count of Hoffman versus Bonds. And Bonds flies it to deep right field. Tracking, and caught by the right fielder. Tony Gwynn chases it down, 1 away. That will, for the moment, put the Silver fans back into their seats as Brooks Robinson comes up next. Bob Feller into this game. Wind in the pitch. Line drive base hit to right. Brooks Robinson laces an opposite field single past a diving Hank Aaron over at first base. Hank Aaron not known for his range when deployed at first base, and he showed a lack of it there. Up next to the plate is Pudge Rodriguez with Brooks Robinson on first. Wind in the pitch. Grounder to second, 1 to first. Double play. Inning-killing double play off the bat of Pudge Rodriguez. induced by Bob Feller, and the Green Dragons get out of trouble and will head to the 9th inning with a lead here in Game 1. We skip the top of the 9th and go right to the bottom. And we're going to start with one of the more interesting cards in Perfect League, if you ask me, and that is new Honus Wagner. So let's get him up here. We don't see many highlights for him in the Perfect League World Series. We don't see a ton of him. So let's load him up here. We see that his versus right profile leaves a bit to be desired here. And on base percentage under 3, slugging under 4. So this at bat and this matchup really heavily favors the Green Dragons as they look to get the first batter out in the bottom of the 9th. 0-2 count here to Honus. Wind in the pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. One away here in the 9th. Next batter is Ty Cobb. So we'll go ahead and flick Rivera's split over to left. And we'll get Ty Cobb up there. Greener than a Christmas tree in the bottom right corner of your screen. Ty Cobb walking up with a 298, 380, 490 triple slash line. And he's going to bring the crowd to their feet as they are looking to root their silvers on to a late game rally here to tie it here in the 9th. 2-2 count. Wind in the pitch. Called strike 3. Ty Cobb takes a heater on the outside corner. Did not like that call one bit, but he'll have to go sit down, and this game will hang on Knapp. Can Knapp come up with a same side base hit or some way to get on base here against Mariano Rivera? We see that Knapp's got some lightning in his bat. That 448 slugging percentage could be portending to what Knapp's trying to do here in this at-bat. He's down in the count 0-1. He needs to make a little magic here or Game 1 goes to the Green Dragons. The wind and the pitch. Little looper over to short. And that's going to do it. The Green Dragons come into UConn, take Game 1. They earn their interpretive dance routine that you see them doing out in front of home plate right now. And they have to feel very happy by stealing home field advantage and heading into Game 2 with a game in hand. Let's look at the box score and see how it happened. And then we'll quickly get to the next sim. So from a starting pitching perspective, UConn's Pedro didn't give him what he was looking for. Not even 5 innings of pitching there. 11 base runners, 5 touch home plate. Just not what you want out of your ace in your first start of the series. And you see that Pedro's rocking a 7.89 ERA in the postseason. Seems like he's been having some struggles here in October. Other side of the fence, we got Brick. The Brick Green Dragons and their Clemens. 6 2/3 innings. You see only 3 earned, so a pretty decent outing there. Errors by Pudge Rodriguez and Brooks Robinson contributed to a couple of unearned runs that didn't end up costing them. All right, let's quickly get the next sim up here and get to Game 2. That was a fun Game 1, though. I hope all the games of this series are just as fun as that one. It was just a back-and-forth battle where the Green Dragons had the advantage just about at every moment, but the Silvers kept threatening. They kept fighting back. They just could never quite get there. They lose by 1 run, which just happens to be the impact that one Pop Lloyd had off his bat. Here we go, Game 2. We're going to start out this game with the Silvers, Walter Johnson on the hill. From a lineup perspective, the Brick Green Dragons lineup seems similar to Game 1. And we'll see how Walter Johnson works through it. He starts this game versus Tris Speaker. And he's got him even in the count, 2-2. The pitch, grounder to short. Over to first, 1 up and 1 down. Easy pitch and catch there for Honus Wagner. We go top 3. And the Green Dragons are threatening to score first again here in Game 2. and they're going to try to do so with Tris Speaker at the dish, Pop Lloyd on second base. So let's go ahead and set this one up. We had one question in the chat earlier tonight about Tris Speaker and how well he performs at this level. So let's go ahead and show. And then we'll also put up Walter Johnson. And I'm going to choose his starter split instead of his versus left split. When you commingle Walter Johnson's starter numbers and his reliever numbers, it gets a little wonky because of his stuff boost and its subsequent impact on the K per 9. So for this matchup here, I'm going to choose to go with Walter Johnson, the starter, and we see the advantage is heavily slanted towards Tris Speaker, who is still making a lot of bacon versus right-hand pitching to the tune of a 287, 359, 467 triple slash line, good for an 826 OPS. Let's see if he can give the Green Dragons a lead here early in Game 2. The pitch. He walked him. Just misses that outer edge with a 97-mile-an-hour fastball. And now there's two aboard with Hank Aaron coming to the plate. Now let's recall that this ballpark here favors the right-handed batters. So if Hank can get his bat on this ball, which is no guarantee given the matchup, the batting average is boosted and the homers are boosted given how this ballpark is architected. 2-2 count on Aaron as we've got the matchup loaded into your analyzer. The pitch. Ground ball, base hit to the left. Around third is Lloyd. He's going to try to score. And there will be no throw. The Green Dragons grab hold of Game 2. It appears as if Speaker and Aaron have either double stole or advanced via pass ball or wild pitch, but either way, it's second and third, one away now for Tony Gwynn. We haven't seen Tony yet in this series, so we'll go ahead and load him up into the matchup analyzer. You see his splits in the bottom right corner of your screen. He's looking to drive in at least one run here and can do so with the infield back. Can do so with a ground ball anywhere in the infield. 2-1 count. The pitch. Grounder to third. The runner holds. Throw across and in time. So Tris Speaker not going on contact there. Ground ball hit to Knapp. Knapp checks the runner, throws over, and retires the batted ball, Tony Gwynn. And there's two away. No additional run score in that rally, and now it's time for the Silvers to get to work. They're going to do so against Pedro Martinez of the Green Dragons, and they're leading off this sixth inning with Knapp. Wide and the pitch. That ball belted. Deep left field. Might be. It could be. It is. A home run off the bat of Knapp Lajoie. That's going to tie this ball game up. Just like Pop Lloyd scraped the fence in Game 1, we see Knapp going into the second or third row here in Game 2. Doing so off a meatball 93-mile-an-hour fastball right down Broadway and putting that one out to the power alley. Still 1-1. We now move to the seventh. We're getting into late and close type situations here, which is when we really get our mileage out of our matchup analyzer. Now, Brooks Robinson, we've already seen him take one ball out of the series here off a right-hand pitcher. Let's see if he can do some more damage here versus Pedro. The advantage is absolutely going to favor Pedro as the best pitcher in the game. But in this ballpark, with Brooks Robinson able to make some good contact, and he's not just any Brooks Robinson too. Look what he has acquired. Didn't have it yesterday. He does have it today, and it's fire. Will that fire propel him to some magic here late in Game 2 as the Yukons are trying to avoid going down 0-2 at home? The wind and the pitch, and that ball belted deep to left field. Gone! How many times do we need to see people wearing fire hit the ball over the fence before we believe it's a thing? Brooks Robinson goes 381 feet to straightaway left field. Fifth home run of the postseason, giving the Silvers a lead here in game number 2. We go top 8 now, and now the order of the day for the Silvers is to protect that newly acquired lead. First step in doing so will be Steve Carlton, a very high stuff special edition reliever, facing off against Tony Gwynn. 2-2 count on Gwynn, the wind and the pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Big strikeout for Steve Carlton to lead off this 8th inning. Gets a tough customer in Tony Gwynn. Still top of the 8th, and we've had a pitching change. So out goes Steve Carlton, in comes Trevor Hoffman, and he'll face an icy cold Rogers Hornsby. So cold. Colder than me building a snow fort with my kids out in the cul-de-sac earlier today. Full count. The wind and the pitch. He walked him. So Hornsby walks through his icicle there and now represents the tying run with Ty Cobb coming to the plate. 2-1 count on Cobb. The wind and the pitch. That ball lined, hit well to center field, but ranging over and grabbing it is Fire Mays. Make it 2 away. Up next, and the last hope for this rally here in the 8th for the Dragons is their own version of Willie Mays, a non-Fire Mays. And he bats here with 2 away and Hornsby on first. The pitch. Ground ball to short. Long throw. He's not even going to attempt it. So Honus Wagner ranged over to the hole. Thought better of trying to throw it across the diamond. That's an infield hit for Willie Mays. And that's going to bring up a very big at-bat here in the 8th inning. 2 aboard, 2 away. Brooks Robinson at the plate. Facing Trevor Hoffman. Got to use the matchup analyzer for this one. In so doing, thanks for the update there, Coach Ruffy. We'll get game 1 updated right after this. In so doing, we see that this at-bat here is heavily favored towards the pitcher. The pitch, ground ball to third. Takes the short throw to second base, and that will end the rally here in the 8th. 2 aboard, but nothing cooking for the Green Dragons. We now go to the 9th, and I'll use that opportunity to update our overlay. All right, we've given game 1 to the Dragons here. Top of the 9th now. So on comes Bruce Sutter, a relatively new special edition card. We'll go ahead and load that up so we can know how well he's been performing in Perfect League. And as we do so, we see that his versus right numbers are pretty solid. Well below league average in all the categories that matter with the exception of walks per 9. And his first task for this inning here, and we're going to get the crowd involved, is when you're protecting a 1-run lead and you're at home and you've got 2 strikes on a batter, you know you've got the crowd behind you. Crowd hoping for a strikeout here. 1-2 count. Sutter winds. Sutter livers. Strike 3 called. We lead off this 9th inning with a backwards K for Pudge. That's going to bring up Pop Lloyd. 2-1 count on Lloyd. Sutter winds and delivers. Line drive up the middle. Fielded it short. Over to first in time. Honus Wagner onto Rogers Hornsby. Makes it 2 away. And now Tris Speaker here, the last hope for the Brick Green Dragons before this series is knotted up at 1. The wind and the pitch. Line drive to right field and down. Tris Speaker. Oh, and that ball gets by the right fielder. Tris Speaker heading to second. He'll stop there. I've never seen that animation before in this game, but Shoeless Joe Jackson lets a lazy little single to right field go beneath his legs, which gives Speaker an extra base and puts him into scoring position. Crowd nervous. as we've got Hank Aaron coming up to the plate here with this game on the line. It's going to be Suter versus Aaron for all the marbles here in Game 2. The pitch. Line drive to center. Ranging over is Mays. Makes the grab. And the Yukon Silvers win Game 2. Series 1-1. Let's get some cheering and fireworks for that one. And then we'll update this. We'll give it to the Silvers. So 2 games and 2 one-run affairs. This one goes to the Yukon Silvers on the backs of a couple of late-game solo home runs. One off the bat of Knapp, the other off the bat of Brooks S.E., both off of Pedro Martinez. So we saw the Yukon Pedro not have his best outing in Game 1, and now the Brick Green Dragons Pedro had a great game, but just poor timing on the 2 runs that he did allow. For Yukon, this was a Walter Johnson start, going 5 innings, giving up only 1 run, and then handing it over to a bullpen that got the job done. Mo goes an inning. Perfect. Carlton goes 4 outs, giving up no base runners. Hoffman comes in, has a little high drama with a couple base runners there, but gets out of the jam. And then Suter comes on and slams the door in the 9th. So we are all knotted up. Let's take a look at our playoff tree. This is where we are. We are tied 1-1. And we'll go ahead and load up the latest sim so that we can see pitcher rest as we head to game number 3, which will come in 12 minutes. So let me load up day 215. I'll be right back. You have to love those one-run games. Tight games where those late 9th inning plate appearances have the tying run at the plate or even on the bases, even in scoring position. Gotta love it. All right, we're back. And let's check out how our bullpens are looking here. So for the Brick Green Dragons, everyone's available. The only 2 people that are not are the starters of Game 1 and Game 2. So no bullpen issues here for the Dragons. Let's go Yukon. Now we've got some issues brewing here, as Rivera and Hoffman really should not go in Game 3, as you have pitch fatigue below 70%. So we'll see if we see them or not, but it's not recommended. And then Steve Carlton here, his rest status as a reliever is good. He's 89%. However, you see his starter rest percentage is 39%, which because he's set on the roster as a starter, it's reflecting that way. But really, he is available and rested enough to be effective. So it's really Mo and Hoffman who the Silvers likely won't be deploying out in this game. Hoffman is the closer, so that could create a scenario where we have someone who is not used to closing for the Silvers asked to get the final 3 outs of this ball game, whether it's Hendricks or Bieber or Suter. We will have to see. All right, so we've got 10 minutes to kill before this next sim, and in so doing, let's take a look at some Perfect League numbers for the week. So we had a surprise best hitter in Perfect League this week, and no one is more surprised than I am. Your Perfect League hitter of the week is Special Edition Barry Bonds. The same card that I was arguing on Thursday was not really a part of the forever meta of PT21. So Barry Bonds came in with a bat value of 15.3, trumping Ty Cobb's 13.81. You see Rogers Hornsby with a very great week with a bat value of 14. Very difficult for a righty to have a performance like that, but Hornsby was absolutely money this week. After Hornsby, you have Boggs coming in there with a 13 number. And then behind him, you see a heavily platooned Hank Aaron. So those were really the standout performers of Perfect League this week. Everyone else was a clear cut below the top 5 of Bonds, Cobb, Rogers Hornsby, Wade Boggs, Special Edition, and then Hank Aaron, face of the franchise. But you do have a nice little clump of players right beneath there. You've got George Brett with a small sample size, good performance. With Brett, I find that it's a little feast or famine. So you could get a 7 bat value one week, and then a 0 the next, and then a 12 the next. You just don't know exactly what you're going to get, especially in small samples. You see Speaker, Gehrig hanging out there. Now, Jackie Robinson. Jackie was someone who was a big part of the San Diego Cats team that won the Perfect League last week. This is the new Jackie. The Jackie that is not circulated right now. I want to say there's only 2 or 3 copies out there. And Jackie, in his encore to last week, came up with a pretty solid bat week. A 6.38 bat value to go along with what he can do in the field, which is a very, very good defense. So that Jackie proving in back-to-back weeks now that he might just be worth a pretty penny price tag. Al Kaline, one of my favorite underrated cards, showing well this week as well. 4.5 on the bat value, and better than cards that are more popular than him, like Joe DiMaggio. We've now seen some pretty large samples where Al Kaline has been better than DiMaggio with the bat. And as we know, Kaline's going to be significantly better with the glove. So if Kaline's going to hit with DiMaggio, that would suggest that maybe he's the play if you're choosing between those two guys. EVC and NYC asking if Knapp's been getting some hate of late. I wouldn't say he's been getting some hate. I think that Knapp is unique in what he does. He's a near 100 range player who can hit. The only player above Knapp here in terms of observed bat value that has more infield range is this Jackie, which goes for a couple million perfect points. So Knapp is uniquely positioned as someone who can be a league average bat while also being deployable all season long at second base, and then carrying your team when his BABIP-fueled hot streaks hit. Emperor Conan with a great point. Fire Knapp is dangerous. So, as Kidneys will tell you any Thursday, his BABIP is a heck of a drug, and Knapp's BABIP is off the charts. And so when he's making contact, good things are happening. And if you get him going at the right time, he can win playoff series MVP. I want to say I saw one of those already here in the Perfect League this week. Might have been the Manchego Cheese conference semifinals, where the Knapp for the Yukon Silvers was the MVP. So here is your scoreboard. Let's get down to the defensive edition of Perfect League bat analysis. You see Mark Belanger coming in with a negative 44 bat value, which actually is a lot better than it has been. So we've seen Belanger at negative 50, negative 55. And so him coming in with a negative 44 here is a marked improvement for him. And if he's delivering 10 more runs with the bat and combining that with the elite range and defense you get with his glove, it only makes him that much more playable. So anyone who's living down here exists in an imperfect team for their glove at this point in the meta. Ozzie Smith, Pop Lloyd, Pudge, Robin Yount, who's probably been moved on from for a lot of teams. Rabbit Marinville. So with our time remaining here, we can do some splits and slice and dice. So let's go versus right. So I've just updated this graphic here for just versus right-hand pitching plate appearances. And here you see Ty Cobb reclaim his throne. So Barry Bonds beat him out for the week and did so because teams are platooning Bonds, whereas they're not platooning Cobb. So when you just look at it as versus right-handed pitching plate appearances, Ty Cobb takes it back, edging him out 22-21 on the bat value. We see Wade Boggs, and then a very strong performance for Ted Williams, face of the franchise. Not a card that gets a ton of run, not a card that gets a ton of talk time from people within the Discord, but a card with a very strong performance this week. Nearly 1,400 plate appearances of a 14.51 bat value, which is pretty strong. We see Speaker there. And then here's one thing I definitely want to call out. So Rogers Hornsby, in most weeks, is going to be around league average versus right-hand pitching. He's going to break even versus right-hand pitching, and then he's going to absolutely annihilate left-hand pitching. And for whatever reason this week, he annihilated both. Coming in with an 8.21 bat value versus right-hand pitching, I have never seen any right-handed batter in recent vintage perform like Hornsby did versus same-side pitching this week. That is an off-the-charts type performance for him. So I don't know exactly what was fueling that. Could have been more righty cheese parks. Could have been a number of things. But this week, Rogers Hornsby outperformed his baseline for same-side performance. Couple minutes left to our sim. Let's look at our versus left numbers. So we're leaving versus right and going to versus left. And look who's at the top of this list. We've got Al Kaline with a small sample of ridiculous performance. 37 on the bat value and 500 plate appearances. Let's see what triple slash that comes out to. So that's a triple slash of 298, 378, 577. Definitely not sustainable, but something that does show you just what types of skills can be tapped into in short sample. And Al Kaline, in addition to his 100-plus range in the outfield, can definitely hit some left-hand pitching. And look who's second place. It's Joe DiMaggio. DiMaggio with a 33 bat value for himself, rocking a 300, 353, 578 slug, good for a 932 OPS on the week. And then our typical leader in this category comes in next, with Rogers Hornsby in the 26 bat value, Hank Aaron right behind him at 24, and then Willie Mays at 19. And in a typical week, with enough sample size, it's really going to be these three guys that are leading the charge. Hornsby, Aaron, and Mays. DiMaggio and Kaline definitely are contributors, but we don't normally see them as being with that triumvirate right near the top. Campanella with a positive bat value from the catcher position with good catcher ability, showing just why so many people like to run him. And as we compare him, let's go ahead and do a slicer by catcher position. As we compare him to what we're observing from Pudge, like yes, Pudge will do a much better job controlling the ground game, throwing out base runners. Pudge will even steal a couple more strikes with a slightly higher catcher ability. But from a bat production perspective, Campanella is going to get you 30 runs more per season. Over 600 plate appearances. If we're just isolating versus left-handed plate appearances. Now, if I go ahead and click this slicer here and we go versus right, you see that Campanella and Pudge are actually pretty close. So as we're looking at versus right-hand pitching, I think Pudge is the right move because of those attributes that we talked about before and the delta between their bat value not being too significant. But once we're talking about versus left and you see Campanella really jump and really provide that value with the bat, that's what tells me to platoon him. Thanks, Yuka, for catching Triumvirate. I try to bring one $5 word to every stream, so that one is done. You'll have to wait till the next stream to get the next one. All right, let's load up game 3 here, and let's see how this first pivotal game can go. It's going to be our first game in the Brick Green Dragons Stadium. Sim is in as well. And so, as we recall, this stadium here has juiced gaps, so we're going to see more doubles and more triples than we would otherwise. We are also going to see less home runs. So the home runs are not fully nerfed, but they're down at .925. So a significant decrease in over-the-fence power should be on display during these 3 games here in the middle. The Dragon's Lair, as Bender Guy 1 is informing us in the chat. All right, top 1. We're going to start this game with the Brick Green Dragons' Walter Johnson facing off against the Yukon Silvers' Ty Cobb. And look at those fire emojis in the Silvers lineup card with Mays and Brooks Robinson. Will we see that be a factor here in game number 3? The pitch, swing and a miss. So Ty Cobb leads off game number 3 with a swing and strikeout. And we will stay here in the top of the first, though. So Cobb strikes out, and then Knapp gets aboard. Shoeless Joe gets aboard. And now Rogers Hornsby, who we just talked about him dominating right-hand pitching this season in a way that we had never seen before, will now face some more right-hand pitching with a chance to give the Silvers an early lead here in game 3. The pitch. Line drive up the middle. Base hit. That ball is down. And it's going to be an RBI single for Rogers Hornsby. Knapp scores. Shoeless Joe heads to second. And Hornsby is aboard, which brings up Fire Mays, who apparently did not do anything because the inning is over. Could have been a ground into double play. Could have been a million things. But the inning is over. And the Silvers settle for 1. We go bottom 2, and the Green Dragons are trying to answer, and they'll be doing so against Special Edition Roger Clemens. And we have Ty Cobb batting with Hornsby on first. Nobody out. The pitch. Line drive to right, base hit. Brooks Robinson gave it a leap, was unable to get it. Aggressively going first to third on the play is Hornsby, and making it safely. They're now at the corners with nobody out for Willie Mays. The Silvers infield is back, conceding the run. They're looking for a double play here. Willie Mays has the speed profile where they might just get it if Clemens can induce a ground ball here. 1-2 count, the pitch. Grounder to second. To second, 1 to first. Easy double play. The run does score as Hornsby crosses the plate, but a twin killing off the bat of Willie Mays. We stay top 2. Or bottom 2, excuse me, with the Green Dragons at the plate. Clemens still on the mound. Very next batter is Brooks Robinson. 2-1 count. Swung on, belted. Deep to center. It might be. It could be. It is a home run for the Brick Green Dragons. Brooks Robinson. An absolute no-doubter tank. 440 feet. Into center field, halfway up the batter's eye, giving the Green Dragons a very loud 1-run lead here in game number 3. We have seen Brooks Robinson making his presence felt on both sides of this World Series. Top 3, and what do we have? What do we have? We've got Shoeless Joe. We've got to show him. We've got to pull up Shoeless Joe's stats. It's our first chance. Shoeless Joe Jackson versus right-hand pitching. Look at that. Feast your eyes on the bottom right corner of your screen. A 994 OPS in short supply, in short sample, 209 plate appearances. But Shoeless Joe showing and suggesting in the early going that he could be a must-own card in the perfect league. He bats here with Knapp aboard, and he's worked the 2-0 advantage here against Walter Johnson. The pitch. Grounder to second one, to first. Easy double play. Shoeless Joe not making the perfect team World Series impression he had dreamed of, as he now drowns into the twin killing. Top 4. Silver's back to it, and Silver's looking to close the gap. They've got Fire Willie Mays aboard, and then Barry Bonds batting into a shift. The pitch. Little looper, left field and down. Barry Bonds loops a little single to left field. Mays will head to second and stop there. And who does that bring up? Who is at the plate now? Fire. Brooks Robinson looking to make another dent on this series and get himself firmly into the perfect team World Series MVP conversation. He'll bat here with 2 outs, or nobody out, and 2 aboard. Full count. The pitch. He walked him. Walter Johnson choosing not to mess with Fire Brooks and instead will pitch to Pudge Rodriguez with the bases loaded. 2-1 count on him. Walter looking for any kind of ground ball here to get a couple outs in exchange for a run. The pitch. Grounder to second, into the hole. Only play is to first. A run does score, chalk up an RBI for Ivan Rodriguez, tie the game up for the Silvers. And we're not out of trouble yet, as up comes Honus Wagner, new Honus. And he now has an opportunity to take the lead for the Silvers with any kind of ground ball or lifted fly to the outfield. 0-2 count on him. The pitch. Strike 3 called. A huge strikeout for the Green Dragons. Johnson. They were conceding the run, but Honus not able to put the ball in play, which means that this rally will come down to whether or not Ty Cobb can come through with 2 away. The pitch. Little looper into foul territory, ranging over is Hank, and he's got it. The Green Dragons escape too much trouble, too much damage here in the 4th, and we are tied. It's time we go to the top of the 6th, and we've got some trouble. We have got some trouble here because Walter Johnson is out here. He's going through this lineup for the 3rd time today. We all know what happens when pitchers go through lineups for a 3rd time. And he's going to have to go through Fire Willie Mays. He's going to have to go through Barry Bonds, who we just saw was the best hitter in Perfect League this week. And then he's going to cap off this inning with Fire Brooks Robinson. This is a tall task and one that definitely favors the Silvers. We'll see how it plays out. 0-2 count on Mays. The pitch. Grounder to short. 1 up. Oh no! The ball gets away. Mays heads to second. Will slide in safely. Hank Aaron unable to handle the throw from Pop Lloyd. The error will be assessed to Pop Lloyd. And the leadoff runner, instead of being sent back to the dugout and 1 away, will now be on second. So Barry Bonds is retired, bringing up Brooks Robinson. The pitch. Robinson crushes that one into the gap. Splits the center and right fielder. Scoring easily from second is Mays. Sliding into second with an RBI double is Fire Brooks Robinson. Make it 3-2 Silvers. An unearned run crosses the plate. A result of the Pop Lloyd throwing error from shortstop. Pudge is retired, and so the last batter between Walter Johnson and escaping this 6th without further damage is Honus Wagner. Now we know that Wagner struck out in his last opportunity to bat with a runner in scoring position. Let's see if he does any better this time around. Full count, the pitch. Line drive up the middle, base hit. Around third is Brooks. He's going to try to score. There will be no throw. Make it 4-2 UConn Silvers here in the 6th. A clutch 2-out RBI single off the bat of new Honus Wagner. We go top 7, and Tom Seaver has found himself in a touch of trouble here. He's got Knapp on third, shoeless Joe Jackson on second, and a tough customer in Rogers Hornsby at the plate. Nobody out. Infield drawn in, trying to keep this game at just a 2-run deficit, and the Silvers looking to blow it wide open. The pitch. Fly ball center field playable. Tagging is Knapp. Catch in center field. Here comes Knapp. He's going to try to score. Throw is not in time. Knapp slides under the tag. Make it 5-0 Silvers. Give Hornsby an RBI sacrifice fly and make it 5-2 Silvers. Top 8. Cobb on second, 1 away. Knapp at the dish, still facing Tom Seaver. The pitch. Line drive, base hit into right field. The outfield was shifted in the opposite direction, which is going to give Knapp a ton of room to run. He's going to take that room and head to third with a sliding in opposite field RBI triple. Ty Cobb scores easily, make it 6-2 Silvers, and the Green Dragons are really having a tough time keeping the Silvers where they are. Make it 7-2 now, and fast forward all the way to the bottom of the ninth. Silvers one out away from putting the finishing touches on a Game 3 win. Spawn into this game. We know that Spawn, a starter for many teams, was a 100 innings pitched reliever for the Silvers this year, and they asked him to go ahead and finish this game out. He'll do so against Pop Lloyd. The pitch. Fly ball left field playable. And caught by Ty Cobb, and that's going to do it. The Silvers have grabbed hold of the series, giving them a 2-1 lead. They've earned their interpretive dance out in front of home plate and do so now. They steal back home field advantage and guarantee themselves at least an opportunity to head back home before they can be eliminated and have an opportunity to stack up some more wins here in Brick Green Dragons. Let's go to the box and see what happened. So we'll start on the Brick Green side. We've got Walter Johnson having what appears in the box score to be not that bad of an outing. 6 innings pitched, 2 earned, 7 strikeouts, but 2 other unearned runs, resulting from the throwing error from Pop Lloyd. Then we had Tom Seaver come in. Seaver, not necessarily a recommended option on my Thursday show. I actually just pronounced him to be outside the meta, and he gave a forgettable performance here in game number 3, yielding 3 earned runs, yielding 8 base runners while only getting 4 outs. On the other side, UConn got a gem out of Roger Clemens, and Clemens was pitching to contact, only striking out 1, dancing around 8 hits over 6 2/3 innings, and then handing it over to a couple of lefties in the pen in Carlton and Spawn, who were able to get the final 7 outs without any trouble. So let's update our score bug in the top right corner of our screen here and give Game 3 to the Silvers. Quite the turnaround for the Silvers. They were down 1-0 in the series, and then down in Game 2 in the 6th inning before they scored their first run. So they turn around from staring at a 2-0 home deficit and now have themselves up 2-1 in the series, looking to stretch it here in Game 4 as they will throw out Greg Maddux versus Warren Spawn. In terms of the bats that are standing out so far, as we try to identify who is lining themselves up for a potential World Series MVP title or award, we see that the Silvers' Brooks Robinson is really having his way. Batting .500, slugging 1.2. He's got the 2 home runs in 3 games to go along with 3 RBIs. You also see that the Knapp, very strong as well, .500 average on him. 7 hits in 14 at-bats. On the other side, Ty Cobb leading the charge for the Green Dragons. 5 of 12 so far. Tony Gwynn and Brooks Robinson with some notable contributions as well. All right, let's black it out and go get a sim. This is when the fun really starts. There's a huge difference between a 3-1 series and a 2-2 series. And if you are wearing the shoes of the Green Dragons, you are sweating this one. You do not want to lose a second consecutive game on your home field, and see the chance at a perfect League World Series start to slip away. Sim is in. Let's load it up. Let's load it up. And then for your viewing pleasure, I'll go ahead and leave up on the screen our top hitters of Perfect League this week. You see Barry Bonds at the top. A surprise crown that he pulled down in 2064. So let's set this one up. We have got the Green Dragon Spawn on the mound, and he's facing the Silvers. Now we see that the Silvers' Brooks Robinson, despite those stats we were looking at, has lost his fire. Now Mays still retains it. We'll see if it matters here in Game 4. But first, let's start with Knapp. Oh-2 count on Knapp, the pitch. Swing and a miss. Gets away from the catcher. Knapp's going to try to run it out, and he won't. Chasing the ball down is a tired Ivan Rodriguez. He gets there and is able to make a strong throw over to Roger Connor at first in time, retiring Knapp. We go bottom 1, and the Green Dragons have themselves an opportunity to strike early with Tris Speaker on third, only one away, and Gwynn at the plate. Now, Gwynn, we know, makes a ton of contact, and Maddox, we know, gives up a ton of contact. The infield of the Yukon Silvers is back, conceding the run in exchange for an out. Let's see what plays out here on this 2-2 count. The pitch. Ground ball to first base and through. That's going to be an RBI single for Tony Gwynn. It looked like Hornsby had a play on it, but it just got by him. Still in the bottom of the first, Maddox struggling to get through. He's got tangled with Willie Mays here with 2 aboard and 2 away. 3-1 count the pitch. And he walked him, an uncharacteristic walk from legend Greg Maddox to Willie Mays, which is going to bring up Brooks Robinson for an absolutely huge opportunity for the Green Dragons to change the entire complexion of Game 4 from the jump. 1-1 count on him. The pitch. Grounder to short. Across the diamond and in time. That'll be 3 runners left on base for the Green Dragons as the Silvers avoid a very catastrophic first inning. Bottom 2, though, and the Green Dragons back on the highlight machine, this time with their tired Pudge Rodriguez leading off. The wind and the pitch. That ball belted deep right center! Gone! Fireworks and cheers from the Green Dragon faithful as Pudge gets into that one and shoots a laser 418 feet to right center. Who cares that he's tired? Who cares that he's fatigued? This is the World freaking Series. Next batter is Willie Mays, and he drives one, and the Silvers have struck back. Fire Willie Mays is pulling out the Boo Birds for the Green Dragons as he now has 8 home runs this postseason. Fire Willie Mays goes 386 feet to the opposite field, cutting that Green Dragons lead and their in-house euphoria in half. Bottom 3, though. Maddox has been dancing around trouble this entire game, and he's found a boatload of it more here in the third. Gwynn and Hornsby aboard. Ty Cobb at the plate. 1-2 count. The pitch. Ground ball up the middle. Second one over to first in time. Double play. A huge double play induced by Greg Maddox as they double up a very tough base runner, a tough guy to double up in Ty Cobb. And that ends the threat in the third. Back on the highlight machine is the Yukon Silvers as they have Perfect League Batter of the Week, Barry Bonds, batting with Roy Campanella aboard on second base and nobody out. The pitch. Bonds gets into one, right field, and that one is down. Campanella around third. He's going to try to score. The throw, not in time. We have a brand new ball game here in the Dragons' lair in the fourth. Bottom four. Green Dragons trying to get their lead back. They'll do so with Ozzie Smith at the plate and Brooks Robinson on first. One away. The pitch. Line drive, base hit to left. Ozzie Smith smokes one to the opposite field, putting two aboard and one out. Up next is Tris Speaker. 2-2 count on him. The line and the pitch. Grounder to second. To second one. Unable to complete the double play. Honus Wagner unable to get the ball out of his glove. And Speaker therefore gets aboard. Retired at second on the play is Ozzie Smith. But the inning continues. And will continue in the form of Roger Connor. One of the game's more deadly hitters versus right-hand pitching. Maddox will face him here with two away. First to pickoff throw. And another pickoff throw. Tris Speaker steals second base. And so Connor now bats with second and third, two away. Infield shifted. The pitch. Little grounder to second. Fielded by Brooks Robinson over to first in time. Ends the inning in the fourth. Two runners left on base. But we have a brand new ball game. 2-2 as we head to the fifth. Let's skip the fifth and go right to the sixth. And we'll do so with Brooks Robinson on second. One out. And Pudge Rodriguez at the plate. Let us not forget that Pudge went 418 feet to the right center field gap earlier today in a solo home run for the Green Dragons. He'll look to do something similar here. The pitch. Little looper. Base hit to right. Robinson around third. He'll hold. Robinson gets the stop sign at third. Decides to hold up there instead of stretching and testing the arm of a shoeless Joe Jackson. And the runners will be at the corners with one away for Ozzie Smith. Now the corners are playing in. We have Hornsby holding the runner at first. Knapp playing even with the grass at third. Up the middle, though, Honus Wagner and Brooks Robinson playing for two. Ozzie Smith, not the easiest guy to double up, but it can be done. Maddox, the pitch. Little looper, right field. Will the runner try to tag? Grabbing it is Jackson. Throwing home. Runner will not. A very quick throw to the cutoff man. And Brooks Robinson does not attempt to score. It would have been a play at the plate. That was not even a medium depth fly ball. And the Green Dragons choosing to play this one somewhat conservatively with Tris Speaker coming up next. And here is Speaker. And out goes Greg Maddox. Greg Maddox did not have his best stuff today, and the Silvers are responding accordingly, going ahead and chasing him before he finishes the sixth inning and bringing in one of the best relievers in this game in this very high leverage spot here in the sixth inning. He'll face Tris Speaker with two away. The pitch. Ground ball up the middle. Robinson fields, throws to first in time, and ends the threat. Two more runners left on base for the Green Dragons as they add to their collection. And we are still tied as we move to the seventh inning. in that 7th inning. We'll start this one off with Barry Bonds. And he'll be going up against Warren Spahn. Full count. 3-0 count. And Bonds walks. So Bonds with a leadoff 4-pitch walk, which is going to bring up Brooks Robinson. Now, Brooks Robinson, we talked about him a lot in between our sims about how he was positioning himself potentially to win that World Series MVP because he was the #1 hitter for the Silvers. But out of the park, decided to take away his fire emoji. Does he do something here to earn it back? 1-1 count. The pitch. Little grounder, second base. It's going to be a fielder's choice as the shortstop goes to second base. Retiring Bonds, Brooks Robinson reaches on the fielder's choice. Up next is Ty Cobb. He'll face Warren Spahn here with Brooks Robinson aboard. The pitch. Little grounder to second. To short one, unable to complete the double play. Another fielder's choice where they do get the lead runner, but they've got a deadly base runner aboard in Ty Cobb. Cobb does steal second base, as expected, and now Honus Wagner will bat with an opportunity for a 2-out runner in scoring position base hit here. He did that last game. Does he have another clutch hit in his bat here in this Game 4 World Series? The pitch. Looper, deep right field. Tracking back. Gone! Honus Wagner goes 387 feet to the opposite field. A huge clutch hit. Second game in a row where Wagner's come through for the Silvers and go ahead and give them a 4-2 lead in game number 4 as we're getting late in this one as well, already in the 7th. Bottom 7 now. Green Dragons need to answer. They'll be facing face of the franchise Trevor Hoffman, and Roger Connor will be the first guy to the batter's box, likely someone that they love in this situation. Roger Connor's claim to fame is an excellent on-base percentage versus right-hand pitching. Exactly what they could use in this spot here. The first pitch to Connor. Little looper, deep right field! Gone! Not much of a looper at all. It was a moonshot. 361 high launch angle feet to right field. Let's get some cheers. Let's get some fireworks. As the Green Dragons have cut the deficit in half. Roger Connor leads off the inning with a bomb, and up next is Tony Gwynn. Wine in the pitch. Little grounder up the middle. Tough play at second, and he won't even make it. Brooks Robinson hoovers it up the middle, but did not have enough arm to even attempt to throw out the speedy Tony Gwynn. That'll be an infield hit. And for the Silvers, kind of feels like it's unraveling here in the 7th. Next batter up is Rogers Hornsby. The pitch. That ball's crushed up the middle. Ranging over and making a sliding catch is Fire Willie Mays. Saving extra bases, saving a tie game. What an elite defensive play there by the center fielder. One away now for Ty Cobb. The pitch, runner stealing. Throw down, not in time. Tony Gwynn swipes second base. 0-2 count on Cobb. Now the pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. 2-2 count on Willie Mays. Last hope here for the rally for the Green Dragons. The pitch. And he loops one to left. That ball is down. Around third is Gwynn. He's going to try to score and will do so without a throw. We have a brand new ball game here in Game 4. Top 8 now. Bob Feller into a big spot. We talked about this. We talked about how the Green Dragons had Feller as a late inning reliever, and we wondered if he'd find himself in a tough spot. And he does here with Fire Willie Mays leading off this 8th inning. 2-2 count. The wind and the pitch, and Mays loops one to right field. That's a leadoff single for Fire Willie. Next up is Rogers Hornsby. The pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Big strikeout for Bob Feller. Just what the doctor ordered as he's leaning into a very tough matchup for him with shoeless Joe Jackson. The pitch. And Jackson crushes that one to deep left center off the top of the wall. Mays around second, heading to third. Mays around third. He's going to hold there. Shoeless Joe just missing himself in Oppo Taco. Instead, it'll end up being second and third for Roy Campanella. The infield comes in. Willie Mays not the fastest base runner. Infield drawn in here. Feller. One of the things that Feller is best for is getting the strikeout in a situation like this, and that's just what his mind is on now. Yet the crowd comes to their feet, rooting him on, looking for him to punch out Roy Campanella here with no further damage. The pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Blows him away with a 98-mile-an-hour fastball, and that puts Campanella down. They walk Barry Bonds intentionally and bring up formerly Fire Brooks Robinson to bat with the bases loaded. Crowd going bananas, looking for another Feller strikeout and to push this game to the bottom of the 8th. The pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Bob Feller with some big-time strikeouts in high-leverage moments here late in game number 4. Bottom 8. Green Dragons with a chance to push ahead. They'll bat here against Mariano Rivera with their own Ozzie Smith. The pitch. He walked him. No way that Mariano Rivera wanted to start this 8th inning walking a very light-hitting Ozzie Smith, but that's just what has happened. Ozzie Smith erased on the bases. And now he faces Tris Speaker. 2 out and none aboard. The wind and the pitch. Little looper left field. In comes Ty Cobb. He'll make the grab. 1-2-3 inning there for Mariano Rivera, working around the Ozzie Smith walk. Top 9. Silver's looking to take control. We're tied 4-4, and we'll start off this inning with Ty Cobb. Wind and the pitch. Strike 3 called. The Green Dragons fire it around the horn as they retire a tough customer to lead off this 9th inning. Honus Wagner also retired, which means the only thing separating the Green Dragons and an opportunity to walk this baby off in the 9th is getting through Knapp. And they've already got him down in the count 0-2. The pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Mariano Rivera, nothing but gas here in the 9th inning. And we have entered the walk-off zone. Every runner that comes to the plate this inning represents the winning run. Starting us off will be Roger Connor. He's already hit 1 home run tonight. He'll face Mariano Rivera. The wind and the pitch, and he crushes that one deep left field, but caught. Ty Cobb ranged back, got a great jump on the ball. Ranged back and left, and he makes the grab to retire Connor to lead off the inning. 2 away now for Rogers Hornsby. And this is an icy cold Rogers Hornsby. 0-1 count on him. The pitch. Little looper, shortstop ranging over and making the grab. We are going to free baseball, ladies and gentlemen. To the 10th inning we go. Top 10. Who better to start off the top of the 10th than Fire Willie Mays? 8 home runs in the postseason already, and the 9th one would be a game changer for him. 2-1 count. Still facing Mo. The pitch. Line drive up the middle, base hit. There is just no way to fire Willie Mays right now. Every time he comes up, he's getting aboard. And he's leading off this 10th inning with a single up the box. Next batter, Rogers Hornsby. Now remember, Willie Mays not the best base runner ever. Not the fastest and not the best. But no pinch runner coming in for Mays here in the 10th. 1-2 count on Hornsby. The pitch. Line drive, base hit into the corner. Willie Mays around second, heading to third. Right fielder ranging to grab it. Mays around third. Is he going to try to score? He'll hold. Willie Mays holds at third. Hornsby ends up at second with a double. Now the outfielders were shifted to the pull side there. There was a lot of running room, but Willie Mays and his limited wheels could only get so far, and they could not chance the relay throw to the plate, making the first out at home. They'll instead push this one to Shoeless Joe, and Shoeless Joe is walked intentionally. Absolutely gigantic moment here in game number 4. Bases are loaded. Infield is drawn in. We have Roy Campanella at the plate. And he's got an 0-1 count, so we know this ball's going into play. The pitch. Line drive up to center field. Diving catch by the center fielder. Unbelievable play by Willie Mays. Unfortunately, the other Willie Mays was doing an excellent job running the bases. Tagged up for just in case. Mays ranged over and made the catch. He comes home to score, giving the Silvers the lead here in the 10th. But that could have been total disaster for the Green Dragons, and only a diving outfield catch prevented it from being so. No more runs in the top of the 10th. If the Green Dragons are able to come back here in the 10th, we will always remember that play out in center field, which likely saved the game. But they've got to do it first. And they're sending up their own fire to start off this 10th inning, and that's Ty Cobb. 1-1 count. The wind and the pitch. Line drive up the middle, base hit. They will also start the 10th inning with a leadoff single. A line drive single up the middle. Willie Mays, the next batter. He bats here with a full count. The pitch. Little looper to second base and over the second baseman's head. Cobb had to wait to make sure it was through, so he is not able to get to third. Brooks Robinson leaped, was unable to grab that one. And now we've got 2 aboard with nobody out. Brooks Robinson now to the plate. And the Green Dragons fans, understandably, are into it now. 2-2 count. We've got the tying run on second, the winning run on first. The end of the game comes Shane Bieber. 2-2 count to Brooks Robinson. The pitch. That ball's crushed into the left center field gap. 1 run will score easily. Mays around second, headed to third. He gets to third. He's going to try to score. No. Mays gets the stop sign at third base, but this game is all tied up at 5. Thanks to the RBI double by Brooks Robinson. The Silvers walk Ivan Rodriguez to get to Knapp. And now Knapp bats with the bases loaded, the infield drawn in, the winning run in the form of Willie Mays. A short 90 feet away, Shane Bieber sweating this one out. Needing a strikeout, could settle for any sort of ground ball that gets that lead runner out at the plate. Do you believe it? We will find out here. 3-2 count. The pitch. He walked him! A walk-off walk for Knapp Lajoie. Fireworks for the Green Dragons. The horn is going off. The interpretive dance is happening around home plate as everyone dogpiling on to Willie Mays. The walk-off walk. Now, Knapp is not known for his walking prowess, and you have to question the decision by the Silvers to intentionally walk Ivan Rodriguez to set up that situation. Pudge is not a good hitter. But I guess the thinking is you got to set up the force play at the plate. And Knapp's not likely to take a walk anyway. But a wild game 4 nonetheless. Let's go ahead and give the Dragons game 4. The Dragons winning game 4 means that we are guaranteed to go to a game 6 or more. Let's look at the box score. We'll start with the Yukon Silvers, who found themselves on the losing end. Now, Greg Maddux did not have his best stuff, spreading around 12 base runners over 5 2/3 innings, only giving up 2 earned runs, yielding way to Trevor Hoffman, who came into that 6th inning and got a huge out. But Trevor, when he started his own inning in the 7th, really struggled. Gave up a homer, gave up 2 runs, and then gives way to Mariano Rivera, who continued the struggle bus. Rivera goes 2 innings, gives up 2 earned, both of them in that 10th inning, with Shane Bieber being on the hill when the worst of it came down, giving up 2 walks and a hit. One of those walks being the walk-off walk for Knapp. On the other side, we have Warren Spahn. Not his best outing. 7 innings pitched, 4 earned. Gave up 2 homers. But then we had that absolutely clutch outing by Bob Feller. Yeah, he gave up 2 hits, and yeah, he gave up a walk, but he struck out the side and pitched around trouble and got the strikeouts when he needed them. Rivera ended up yielding up that run in the top of the 10th. But one thing that I said to remember at the time, and we'll harken back to it now, is that diving catch that Willie Mays made in center field. The bases were loaded, there was nobody out, and there was a rocket hit, and Mays chased it down, made the catch. A run did score on the sac fly, but that could have been a bases clearing double and a 3-run deficit. But alas, it was not meant to be, and the Silvers find themselves now even in the series. So as we look at Game 5, which is coming to us in just 2 short minutes here, we have the struggling Pedro Martinez for the Yukon Silvers facing Roger Clemens of the Brick Green Dragons. Now, one thing I want to look at is just what Pedro's done in the postseason for Yukon. So it looks like his postseason got off to a great start against the Quarantiners, going 7 innings of shutout ball, only yielding 4 base runners. But from there, it has been horrendous. Got trashed twice versus Brooklyn. Once didn't even get out of the 2nd inning. Second time didn't get out of the 4th. And then big time struggle against the Manchego Cheese. Couldn't get out of the 5th inning here. And then in Game 1 of this series, similar problems. So we've got 4 straight dud starts for Pedro Martinez of the Silvers. And now he will be asked to pitch in a pivotal Game 5. So a tough assignment here. And as DC Cubs is saying in the chat, Pedro's been struggling for some time. I mean, there was a time this season when Pedro, in the middle of July, was 13-5 with a 3.15 ERA. He ends the season with a 4.42 ERA. So Pedro has really been fighting it and will need to find a way to turn the tide here in a season-defining Game 5. Let's go ahead and blind this out, load up the sim, and see what version of Pedro we get. Do we get the struggle bus Pedro, which we've seen most recently? Or does he come out and spin a gem? What a series we've seen in 4 short games. And whenever we do these, most oftentimes in a 2-2 series, Whoever takes home game number 5 ends up standing alone as champion. All right, let's get underway here. As advertised, we get the Brick Green Dragons' Roger Clemens as the starting pitcher tonight, and he'll start this game off against Ty Cobb. Stakes couldn't be any higher. 2-2 game. Pivotal game 5. Wind and the pitch. And that's a lazy little fly ball. Chased in center field. Willie Mays will track it. Reaches up and makes the grab, and 1 up, 1 down. Let's get some fast forward. We're going to jump all the way to the top of the 3rd. Still Clemens on the mound. Brooks Robinson aboard. And Clemens facing an icy cold Pudge Rodriguez. 1-0 count. The pitch. Grounder to 3rd. To 2nd, 1. To 1st, double play. Icy Pudge accounts for 2 outs here in the 3rd. Bottom 4 now. Chance for the Green Dragons to strike first in this one. Hornsby in scoring position at second base. 1 away. The Yukon Silver's Pedro, who we talked about extensively before this one began, finds himself in the 4th inning not having given up a run yet. But can he keep it on the straight and narrow, or does Fire Cobb ruin his good start tonight? The pitch. That ball's crushed into the right field corner. Around 3rd and scoring is Hornsby. Cobb on his way to 2nd, and he's not stopping there. The throw goes all the way through to 3rd base, not in time. Ty Cobb gives the Green Dragons the lead. Ty Cobb ends up scoring there in the 4th, so make it 2-0. And Pedro will now be trying to stop run scoring here in the 5th inning. He's going to have to work around Ozzie Smith being on first base. 1 away, and Tris Speaker at the plate. 1-0 count the pitch. Line drive, base hit into right field. That ball's going to the corner. Smith around 3rd. He's going to be sent. There will be no throw. That's an RBI double for Tris Speaker. Here in the 5th inning, Pedro has given up his 3rd run. And oh boy, we just fast forwarded all the way to the 9th. It's 5-0. 5-0 Brick Green Dragons. They are staring at a 3-2 series lead if they can find a way to get 2 outs before they yield 5 runs. In this game, they've dominated the hits with a 13-3 lead. Pitch to Honus Wagner, the pitch. That ball crushed into the corner. Honus has been getting big hits all series, and he will extend this one at least a bit for the Silvers. He's not going to stop at 2nd. He'll get a 1-out triple as the Silvers dream of a late game rally here in the 9th. So Honus scores. Ty Cobb is retired. Knapp is now on 2nd. Make it 5-1. And Shoeless Joe Jackson bats and represents the last hope for the Silvers. The pitch. He crushes that one. Deep left field. Gone. Shoeless Joe Jackson, 388 feet to straight away left field. His first ever home run on Perfect League Stream. And what it has done is it's given the Silvers a glimmer of hope. Now the Silvers need Hornsby to find any way to get aboard. As you see what's lurking in the on-deck circle, you see who's next if Hornsby can find a way to reach. It's Fire Willie Mays, who is the last guy in the world that the Brick Green Dragons would want to see in this spot representing the tying run. All Hornsby needs to do is find a way. Broken bat single. Little flare to right field. Ringing double off the fence and left. If he can get aboard, Willie Mays will bat as the tying run. 2-2 count. Mo trying to slam the door. The pitch. Strike 3 called. And Willie Mays will be left in the on-deck circle as the Green Dragons take Game 5. Let's get some cheers and some fireworks. This series has been about the ups and the downs and the turns on a dime. I mean, we had the Silvers up 2-1 in this series, threatening to take Game 4. It wasn't meant to be. And then the Dragons go ahead and trump them in game number 5 here, despite a late game rally. As we diagram or as we look at the box score here, I mean, look at the Yukon Pedro. Like, what is going on with the Yukon Pedro? What is going on? I don't think I've ever seen a Pedro with this type of postseason. 5 straight horrendous starts. Just horrible. And it's not like a Pedro having 2 or 3 bad starts in a postseason because you got knocked out in the LCS. This is a Pedro who has 6 starts in the postseason and has only gotten through 5 innings once. What in the world? I can't believe this. This is horrible. I mean, Pedro's not even getting to 90 pitches in these games. I mean, I don't blame the Yukon Silvers one bit. If in the same exact circumstance, I'm going to Pedro 10 times out of 10. And I am expecting that eventually he turns the tide. And it wasn't meant to be. Yeah, I wouldn't have skipped a start, DC Cubs. I would have pitched him. He's still Pedro. His back of card is still what the back of card is. I just can't believe this. And worse than him having a bad postseason is being directly attributable to 2 World Series losses. With almost identically bad starts. 4 2/3 and 5 earned runs. Well, the good news for the Silvers is that Pedro will not pitch again in this series, as that Pedro needs an offseason to recover. But besides Pedro, you had Liam Hendricks do a good job of cleaning up some of the trash, picking up 6 outs, only throwing 29 pitches, so after an off day, he'll be right back at it. Warren Spahn closing down the game with 4 outs of his own. On the other side, you had Roger Clemens nearly throw a complete game. He was well on his way to it until the Yukon started storming back there in the 9th. But Clemens gets 1 out away, and then Rivera comes in to slam the door. So let's frame it up. Game 6. You know, one of the things that drives me so crazy is when you have a card that just isn't performing, and obviously I'm talking about the Yukon Silvers Pedro right now. You have a card that isn't performing, and then your opponent uses that same card and punches you out with it. My anecdotal experience with this is normally lined up with Warren Spahn, because I've got a long history of running lefty cheese. And so I'll be in a 5-game series or 7-game series, and my Spawn will lose me a couple games, and the other Spawn will win them a couple games. And for whatever reason, that just uniquely perturbs me. That gets under my skin. And so as I look at this Game 6 matchup, we see that the Brick Green Dragons are going to roll out Pedro. and the Silvers are going to roll out Walter Johnson. And we don't know what's going to happen in this Game 6. But if the Green Dragons' Pedro throws an 8-inning shutout and ships the Green Dragons off to an 8-inch plastic trophy, if I'm the Silvers, that gets under my skin. That gets under my skin pretty good. Yeah. So, we're 3 minutes away from even setting up the rest picture for Game 6. But the Silvers, they'll turn to Walter Johnson. Let's see what Walter's been like this postseason. We saw him in game number 2 of this series, and he gave a solid outing. Took him 93 pitches just to get through 5, but only gave up 1 run. If you ask the Silvers right now if they'd take it here in Game 6, I'm sure they would. In the prior series, Walter was doing more pitching in relief than he was starting. But the one start that he did get was kind of Pedro-like, 4 1/3, 5 earned runs. But the Quarantiner's start was solid, 5 1/3, only 1 earned. So it seems like Walter has been a little inefficient with his pitches in this postseason, getting up right around 100 before getting too deep into the game. And given the pitch counts that we see over the course of the season, it looks like the Silvers might have an editorial decision to pull him as he approaches that 100 pitch mark and get the game into the bullpen's hands. And so we might just see that here in game number 6. Let's check out the Brick Green Dragons' Pedro. How has he been doing in the postseason? So he's got 5 starts under his belt, and every single one of them has been great. 7 innings, 1 earned. 7 innings, 1 earned. 7 innings, 2 earned. 8 innings, 1 earned. 7 innings, 2 earned. This Pedro has been on fire. Now, this Pedro lost game 2 in a 2-1 game. Gave up 2 homers, and those 2 homers were the difference. But he was still darn good. He was still darn good. And we'll see if he has what it takes to win his 4th game in the postseason and send the Brick Green Dragons to their first ever Perfect League World Series championship. So in 1 minute, we will check out the rest, and then we'll check out the pitchers of Perfect Team this week and see who the best arms were. We'll check out relievers, starters, righties, lefties. How do you guys see this playing out? Do the Green Dragons take this in 6, or are we going to 7? I know many of you are out here rooting for 7 because you do that every week. But what's going to happen? Are we going to see the Brick Green Dragons, Pedro, shut this thing down and end this thing in 6? I mean, in addition to a great postseason, I mean, it's been a great season for this Pedro. 3.32 on the ERA, 17 wins, 1.11 on the WHIP. Walks per 9, only 1.7. All right, let's go BRB. Let's pull down the most recent sim. Let's check out pitcher rest for both teams as we go to Game 6. And then let's check out pitcher statistics in Perfect. So this sim here will be an empty sim. It's just going to be a rest day. Let's see if we've got it loaded. We do. Come on back, friends. Come on back. Brick Green Dragons, pitching. All right, so we're in a situation where Mo, likely unavailable. or not recommended. Down at 69% pitch fatigue. He is the closer on the team. So this could elevate the level of innings, the level of leverage that we see Feller into. Could put Hoffman into that role. We'll have to see. But we do have some fire in this bullpen. So Feller is on fire. Maddox on fire. Maddox working in middle relief. And then, of course, the starting pitcher, Pedro. This is a fire Pedro that the UConn Silvers will need to work through to earn their way into a Game 7. Let's check out the UConn Silvers bullpen. So here, everyone but Warren Spahn available. Now, Spahn is one of 3 lefties, so that's likely not too problematic. If there's a spot for a lefty, you could have Newhouser or Carlton come up into it. Newhouser didn't give up a single run all season long in 12 innings. All right, it is time to look at pitchers in Perfect League. Here we go. So these are your top pitchers. Let's actually first start with relievers. These are your top relievers in Perfect League this week. So the split that I'm using is pitched in relief. So there are no starts mingled in here. These are all innings pitched after someone else started. Now the complicating factor is that if someone is pseudoing or if someone is using opener-follower mechanic, you could have the non-stuff boosted versions of some of these cards intermingled here, but there's really no way to get around that. But we have a really strong Shane Bieber 400 inning sample at the top of this list here at a 3.25 ERA. Best in the league. Behind him, you've got 700 really strong innings from Chris Sale. And then a much larger sample of Hoffman as the top of the sugar pile with 2,200 innings at 3.46. I have seen more and more people shifting from Mariano Rivera as their closer to Trevor Hoffman. I myself made the shift maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago. And it's been paying dividends for me, even though my Hoffman had a rough season this week. Joe A. 1010 with a question of, do you suppose Sale is normally in middle or setup or what? Most of the Sales that I see would either be specialist or middle or follower. I don't see many Sale. I don't think I've ever seen a Sale as a closer. I don't see many Sales as setups. Liam Hendricks here, actually slightly above Mariano Rivera. One of my favorite pen arms is Liam Hendricks. I think he's great. And I know that we comped on our Thursday show, we comped Liam Hendricks to Bruce Sutter, but the observed statistics are suggesting that he's a nice little chunk above Sutter, both for this year and previous years. Tech 15. I think me and your Hoffman have some good memories together. I think your Hoffman was involved in the narrative that will become a Lifetime movie any day now of my Perfect League World Series win. Your Hoffman was featured prominently in round 1 of that. Who was it that took him yard in a walk-off fashion? I think it was Griffey, but correct me if I'm wrong. I think it was a pinch hit Griffey homer, 3-run homer when I was down 1 or 2 with 2 outs in the 9th. But yeah, Hoffman can give up some homers, but he's still my guy. I'd rather have him out there than Mo. I kind of treat Hendricks and Mo and Sutter interchangeably. I might need to be more shielding of Sutter given the observed stats that we see coming out here. Feller with some strong numbers here, 3.75. Now, he gets to his numbers differently. He's going to strike out a ton. He's going to walk a ton. But you see overall run prevention he's doing better than a guy like Bruce Sutter. He's doing better than this short sample of Pedro. Dish, I've heard people mention this Nick Ramirez Grand Slam, and I just don't recall it. Is that one of your tournaments? Was there a big Grand Slam in one of your tournaments? Someone needs to bring me up to speed on that. I'm out of that inside joke. Or maybe it's an outside joke that I should be inside on. So let's go from reliever to starter. So as I click this, we are now looking at Perfect League starters. And you'll see Pedro is the top of the sugar pile here, 4.15. 0.2 better ERA than every other pitcher. 0.2 or more. Cy Young, PTCS right behind him. So not a card that you can go out and buy at the corner store. And then you see Spawn and Glavine. Now, as API would tell me if he was in my ear right now, if he was a production team member, as we're talking about Glavine's observed stats here, he'd say, well, make sure you talk about shielding Glavine. Make sure you talk about how Glavine's being run in lefty cheese teams and being babied. And he's right. So while Glavine, at face value, looks to be here the fourth best pitcher in Perfect League, I think you can get that. You can get that outcome. You just need to work to get it. Tom Glavine is not the type of guy that you want running into every park facing every type of lineup. Most notably, the righty cheese parks you want to avoid. I mean, shoot, even a lot of neutral parks are problematic for Glavine if he's running into a lineup with a ton of right-handed batters who can do bad things to him. Thinking of Hornsby, Aaron, DiMaggio, I mean, even Campanella. Greg Maddux, SE, still hanging around in Perfect League. 5.99 on the ERA. Someone in Perfect League was telling me that he's been better than that recently. So Bailey out of the park asking who's the best fifth starter. And it's a great question and one that does not have a stock answer. To answer that question, we would have to ask other questions of you. What is your build? Are you doing righty cheese? Are you doing neutral? Are you doing lefty cheese? We would have to ask you about your involvement. Are you able to actively manage your team to line up your pitchers? If you are in an AFK build predominantly, I wouldn't suggest someone like a Glavine. I wouldn't suggest someone like a Pettit. Yeah, neutral park, no involvement. I would probably go 4 horses and Clemens. And by 4 horses, I mean Pedro, Spawn, Johnson, Maddux, and then give me Clemens for the 5th. Maddux Legend had a pretty bad season, down with an ERA over 5. One of the rare seasons that we've seen the face of the franchise Maddux differentiated from Maddux Legend. Maddux Legend is out hanging out with Tom Seaver and Roger Clemens down there in the 5 range. All right, let's see if we've got a sim here. I think we might still be 5 minutes away, but I'm going to check just to be sure. All right, we do have a sim. We do have a sim here. Let's load it up. Game 6. Game 6. We framed up the game in our time between the sims here, but Walter Johnson carrying the weight of the world for the Yukon Silvers. Needs to try to get deeper in this game. He needs to try to go blow for blow with Pedro Martinez. As we know, the Brick Green Dragons' Pedro Martinez is fire right now. We'll start off this game with Walter Johnson of the Silvers pitching against Tris Speaker. 0-2 count. The wind and the pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Green Dragons start off this game with a swinging strikeout. Could be a good omen for the Silvers. We go bottom 2. Silvers have a chance here. Silvers have a chance to strike early and strike first. They've got Pedro dealing with a runner on second and 2 away in Ty Cobb as Hornsby's at the dish. The pitch. Line drive, base hit to left. Cobb's around third. He's going to try to score. Safe. Yukon Silvers score in the first inning. Certainly good to calm the crowd as they give a nice little cheer here in the bottom of the first. The cheering is gone, though, as we've gone top 3, and the Green Dragons have themselves a bit of a rally. Ozzie Smith is on third. Tris Speaker's on first. There's 1 away, and up comes Roger Connor, he of the big home run in Game 4 of this series. The pitch. Little dinker, fielded out in front of the plate by the catcher. He goes to second and does get the runner. Roy Campanella makes a very risky play, throwing on to Honus Wagner to get Tris Speaker at second. Tris Speaker, a great base runner, but Campanella takes a chance, able to get that lead runner, while at the same time holding and freezing Ozzie Smith at third. So 2 away now, runner still at the corners. Well, Roger Connor goes ahead and takes second base. And so this is going to come down to Walter Johnson versus Tony Gwynn. Full count on Gwynn. The pitch. Little grounder to short. Over to first. In time. 2 runners left by the Green Dragons. And no score. Top 5 now. We are still in a pitcher's duel. Green Dragons looking for their first run. They'll send up Ozzie Smith here with 1 away in the 5th. The line and the pitch. That ball crushed into right center field. That's going to get down and split the gap. Ozzie Smith's got at least 2. Touches second and doesn't even think about slowing down. That's a 1-out triple for the Wizard of Oz as he's trying to will his Green Dragons back even in this one. So that run doesn't score. We go top 6. And we've got Gwynn on second, 1 away for Hornsby. 2-2 count on him. The pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. We go bottom 6 now. The Hornsby is on the other foot as Hornsby bats with Shoeless Joe Jackson on second and 2 away. The wind and the pitch. That ball crushed to center and out of the reach of the center fielder. Jackson will score easily. Hornsby on his way to second. He's got a double. That's an RBI double for Rogers Hornsby. Make it 2-0 Silvers. We go top 7. Walter Johnson still in the game. We noted how Johnson has been babied for much of this season from a pitch count perspective, never going over 100 pitches. So it remains to be seen how much longer he is for this game, but he's currently nursing a shutout as he's spread around 6 hits through 6 innings so far and faces Willie Mays to lead off this 7th inning. Wind in the pitch. That ball crushed to left center field and down. Willie Mays has extra bases. That's a leadoff double for Willie Mays here in the 7th. Next batter up, Brooks Robinson. 3-1 count on him. The pitch. Little grounder deep in the hole at short. Long throw in time. Great play by New Honus to range far to his right and then make a very strong throw to retire the hustling Brooks Robinson. No further damage there in the 7th. And here in the 8th, we see a pitching change. In comes face of the franchise, Trevor Hoffman. So we wondered what the Silvers would get out of Walter Johnson, and boy, did they get a gem tonight. 7 innings of scoreless ball, giving their bullpen a 2-run lead to go force this series to a 7th game. To do so, the Pen's going to need to do their job now. They've got a 2-run lead. They've got it in the hands of their trusted relievers, and Hoffman will face Tris Speaker here to start off this 8th. The line and the pitch. Line drive up the middle, base hit. Tris Speaker will start off this 8th inning with a ringing single up the middle. Next batter, Roger Connor. 1-1 count on him. The pitch. That ball smoked into the right center field gap. Tris Speaker will head to third. Ball quickly being relayed in. Speaker's going to have to hold there. That's a double for Roger Connor. Put the tying run now on second base with nobody out. The Green Dragons have had 9 hits today and yet are waiting for the one that will finally cross someone to the plate. Let's set up this moment with our matchup analyzer. Let's get Steve Carlton, SE, into the game and match it up with Tony Gwynn. So we all know that Tony Gwynn's one of the best hitters in this game. But in this matchup right here, he is facing one of the toughest customers around. Steve Carlton versus left-hand batting has a FIP of 2.32, striking out 12.9 per 9 innings, walking under league average at 2.8, and no one's taking him yard. Only a 0.8 per 9 innings home run versus left-hand batting. Infield back. Line in the pitch. Line drive up the middle, base hit. Around third is Connor. He's going to hold there. Tony Gwynn coming up with a clutch RBI single. And that very hard-fought lead that Walter Johnson delivered to the bullpen is not being treated so fairly here. Now the infield comes in. And now Rogers Hornsby comes to the plate. So as good as Carlton is versus left-handed batters, let's see just how bad it is versus right-handed batters. And let's get Rogers Hornsby to the plate. So what was an incredible matchup for the Silvers becomes more of a nightmare matchup as Carlton, who struggles to throw strikes versus right-handed batters and struggles with the long ball, will face just about the most dangerous right-handed batter versus left-handed pitching in perfect team. 3-1 count on Hornsby, and this series hanging in the balance. Line in the pitch, and he walked him. Steve Carlton at 6.4 walks per 9 versus right-hand batters. We see one there. But what that does do is it brings up Ty Cobb, which can again put Carlton in a favorable matchup and set up the double play. 0-2 count on Cobb. The pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Huge strikeout for Steve Carlton to get the first out here in the 8th. He will be pulled from the game. So he came in for Gwynn, gave up an RBI single. Pitched to Hornsby, walked him. Strikes out Ty Cobb, and then in comes Shane Bieber, who at this point has to be believing that he has made someone mad inside that dugout because he's only being brought into games in the most highest of leverage spots and typically with the bases loaded. Now, last time he was dealt this hand, he walked it and gave the Green Dragons a walk-off walk with their nap. And now Bieber looking to do something different with Willie Mays. The infield still drawn in. Wagner and Brooks Robinson looking to get Connor at the plate, not looking to turn 2, despite Mays being slow. 2-2 count. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Huge strikeout for Shane Bieber, who we saw was our lowest ERA reliever of this perfect league season. And now we are in a spot where the believer can get out of the trouble if he can just get through Brooks Robinson. The matchup is set up in your matchup analyzer. It's a 1-2 count on Robinson, and of course, the Yukon Silver crowd comes to their feet, rooting on Bieber, trying to get through this trouble, trying to push this one, trying to will this one, trying to 12th man their way to a Game 7 1-2 count. The pitch. Fly ball to left field, ranging over his Cobb, and he's got it. That will be the third out in the 8th inning. 3 runners left aboard. Shane Bieber, game MVP for the time being. We move to the 9th inning. Into this game to close it out is Mariano Rivera. He's got a 1-2 count on Pudge. Gets the sign. Delivers. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Mariano Rivera starts off this 9th inning with a swinging strikeout of Ivan Rodriguez. Up next was Ozzie Smith, but he will give way to Knapp, the same hitter that walked off Game 4 with a walk. He'll be looking to get aboard here. He's got a full count. Wind and the pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Mariano Rivera 2 up and 2 down via the K. He needs just one more to send this series to a 7th game. He'll be looking for it with Tris Speaker. Let's set it up in the analyzer. Big spot in this game. Where's Mariano? Where is he? He's missing. There he is. Advantage to the hitter here. The wind and the pitch. Fly ball, deep center field, and down. It's extra bases for Tris Speaker. He's got a double and will now represent the tying run in scoring position as Roger Connor comes to the plate. That silences the crowd for the moment. We'll load up the matchup analyzer for Connor. Oh, and the crowd's right back at it. Crowd is right back at it, trying to root on Mariano, trying to get him across this one, trying to get themselves into Game 7. 1-1 count on Connor. The pitch. Fly ball into right center field and down. Extra bases for Connor. This is a brand new ball game. Devastation for the Silvers as they were 1 out away with nobody out, or with no one on. Tris Speaker doubles. Roger Connor doubles. And what was a lead is now a threat at a deficit. Tony Gwynn to the plate. The pitch. Grounder to second. Easy field, easy pitch, easy catch. That will end the inning, but the Green Dragons send their message. They tie this one up. They push us to the bottom of the 9th. And here we are. Bottom of the 9th. It's hero time. If you're the Yukon Silvers, it's your opportunity to win your first Perfect League World Series. You've been here before. 7th week in the Perfect League, 4th week in the Perfect League playoffs. You don't want to let this golden opportunity go to waste. You blow the lead in the top of the 9th, and now it's time to just quickly and resolutely walk this baby off. And who are you sending up there to lead off this 9th inning? Fire Willie Mays. Fire Willie Mays. Probably the leading candidate for MVP if the Silvers were able to somehow pull this one out. He's going to bat versus Mariano Rivera. The wind and the pitch. Little looper, right field, long run, but he makes the grab. Tony Gwynn ranges over and puts the squeeze on it, and they, for the first time in 4 games that we've been watching, have retired Fire Willie Mays. Now we are all the way to the bottom of the 9th with 2 outs for Brooks Robinson, formerly Fire Brooks. The pitch. Grounder deep to the hole at short, long throw in time. Long throw in time, that ends the 9th, which means we are going to extras. Top 10. This game is firmly in the hands of both teams' bullpens. Hornsby will lead this off versus Mo. Quick grounder to third. Cal Ripken fields it across and in time. Cal Ripken on as a defensive replacement. 1 away now for Ty Cobb. Fired Ty Cobb. Be careful with him. Full count. I might just walk him the pitch. Cobb down the right field line. Will he try for 2? He will. The throw. Not in time. That's a double for Fire Cobb, representing the go-ahead run here in the 10th. Up next, Willie Mays. 2-2 count on him. The pitch. Grounder to short. Checks the runner. Throws and in time. Good play there by New Honus to hold Cobb, to freeze him in his tracks, prevent him from advancing, and then fire on to first to get the second out of the inning. Only thing separating the Silvers and another opportunity for walk-off world in the bottom of the 10th here with any one of their batters is Brooks Robinson, batting now with a runner in scoring position and 2 away. The pitch. Grounder to third. Ripken fields. Long throw in time. A slow developing play. Ripken fields it smoothly and cleanly, and then with a strong throw, retires a hustling Robinson, and the Yukon Silvers have earned themselves another opportunity to walk this baby off. We have Joe DiMaggio making his first appearance in the series. He'll face Mariano Rivera here. Now let's remember that this is a righty cheese park. When righties make contact in this ballpark, good things happen. 2-1 count, the pitch. Grounder to second. Oh, and he dropped it. So Robinson throws it to first. The throw was off the mark. Roger Connor unable to handle that throw from Brooks Robinson. It looks like they're giving the error to Brooks Robinson. DiMaggio able to run through the bag and reach. That's an error in a rough start here to the 10th inning. Honus Wagner comes up next. 1-0 count on him, the pitch. And he bunts. A good bunt. A sacrifice bunt. That will move up Joe DiMaggio to second base. Bunted it right at the third baseman. Just like he wanted. 1 away now. We've got Pudge. Pudge operating out of the leadoff spot. The pitch. Little looper, left field and through. DiMaggio around third. He's going to try to score. He's in there. Joe DiMaggio scores from second on the Pudge. Little looping line drive to left field. And the Yukon Silvers have walked off Game 6. We are heading to Game 7, folks. We are heading to game number 7. They're still lighting off fireworks for UConn. What a devastating way that game was developing. You go ahead and outduel Fire Pedro and then have your bullpen give it up. Give it up late. Tech 15 says, who won? we all win. We all get a Game 7. But before we talk about Game 7, let's talk about game number 6. So, for the 6th time in the postseason, the Brick Green Dragons Pedro was outstanding. An unbelievable playoff run for him. This one takes the form of a quality start, 6 innings pitched, 2 earned, 9 strikeouts. But he was outdueled. Walter Johnson on the other side of the diamond goes 6 1/3, giving up none. Only the UConn bullpen, showing cracks via Trevor Hoffman and Mariano Rivera, allowed Pedro's team to get back into it. But Mariano Rivera on the other side gives up the game-winning blow to Pudge Rodriguez. So what a game. Let's set up Game 7. What are we going to see in Game 7? Well, the UConn Silvers will turn to Roger Clemens. Not their first choice for Game 7, but maybe not their last choice. And look at what he's done in the postseason. Roger Clemens looks like he's made 2 starts in the postseason. He was the player of the game in the first one against the Manchego Cheese, going 6 2/3 of shutout ball, only giving up 1 hit. And then he was a winner in Game 3 in this series, going 6 2/3, giving up 2 earned. So we've got a Clemens who has strung together 2 great starts, who appears as if they were not part of the playoff roster, or at least were not deployed in the series prior to the Manchego one in the semis. And he will be facing Walter Johnson. Walter Johnson of the Brick Green Dragons. Let's see how he's been doing. So he's made 5 starts in the postseason, and most of them have been pretty darn good. 8 1/3, 1 earned. 8 innings, 0 earned. 7 1/3, 1 earned. Here's the one bump. Cartier lit him up. The Cartier Cutthroats stung him for 7 earned. But then we saw Walter Johnson with a pretty solid game in this series. Game 3, there were 2 unearned runs on the back of a Pop Lloyd error. But pretty solid performance there from Walter Johnson. So we'll see what we get in Game 7. Let's check out bullpens. Who's got their bullpens intact versus who is going to have to be relying on people they'd rather not. So Brick Green has no Seaver, who's probably not going to shed a tear over that. Seaver was pretty terrible the one time we saw him in the series. Mariano Rivera is also off. So Rivera is their closer, and he is unavailable for this one at 59% pitch fatigue. Now, Feller and Maddox are both available. They're both at 100%, and they're both wearing a fire emoji. So maybe they get a little prioritization by the Green Dragons. Let's go on down to the UConn Silvers. We see that Bieber is off the table. Mo is totally off the table. So that takes out 2 of their core options in middle relief. But it still leaves behind Hendricks and Suter for that role. And then Hoffman at only 76 pitch fatigue. It's not a ton. If you had your druthers, you wouldn't be relying on a 76 pitch fatigue. But given that it's Game 7 of the World Series and he's your guy, you're probably not making a move to get him out of that. So what do you guys think is going to happen? Who is going to win this game? Is it going to be a Silver Sunday? Or will the Dragons reign supreme? Who is going to win this one? Who's going to win their first Perfect League World Series? 2 very deserving owners here between Bender Guy 1, DC Cubs 44. One of them is about to be adorned with 8 inches of beautiful Out of the Park 21 plastic. Who's going to get it? DC Cubs or Bender Guy 1? We got Port Dog taking the Dragons. Azandra's going to UConn. Jay Lee, New Era's going Dragons. Wait till next year. I don't know if he's asking for extra innings or if he's hearkening back to Game 6. Silver's got the momentum. Cheese Truck says the UConn Silvers just sound like a champion. They just sound like a champion. All right, I think we're 22 minutes in to this sim. Although they've gotten a little mixed up for me with some of the delays that we've had today with that one sim getting hung. So I'm going to go ahead and just peek. I'm just going to peek. I'm just going to peek. We'll see if we've got one. I'm doubtful that we do, but I've been surprised before. Man, I love me some Game 7s. Love me some Game 7s. The long sim taking out some of the excitement. Ooh. Look at that, guys. We have got a sim. It's time. Should I do this one radio only, or should we do video? All right, guys. It is Game 7 of the World Series. The UConn Silvers, led by DC Cubs 44. The Brick Green Dragons, led by Bender Guy 1. One of them is about to win a Perfect League World Series. The other will be left to try again next week. Let's get this started. The Silvers send out their Clemens to face Tris Speaker. It's a full count on Speaker here in the first. He walked him. Clemens does struggle a touch with wildness, and he starts off this game with a walk. And look at that time warp. Jump all the way to the 5th inning. Clemens still on the hill. We have got a Game 7 that is 0-0 into the 5th as Ty Cobb steps to the plate. But it's not any Ty Cobb. It's fire Ty Cobb. And what is he going to do to this Clemens offering here? The wind and the pitch. Line drive, base hit down the right field line. It's a kind of a lazy grounder, but it's giving Cobb an opportunity to go for extras. And he will. Shoeless Joe got to it as quick as he could, but was not able to keep Cobb from taking the extra base. Cobb now finds himself on third base with nobody out. Did he steal third? Did he take third via wild pitch? Pass ball? We'll never know. But the crux of it is the infield now comes in. Willie Mays at the plate, and the UConn Silvers are begging for a strikeout here from Roger Clemens. The pitch. Line drive, base hit up the middle. Green Dragons strike first in the 7th game of this World Series. Make it 1-0. You can hear the consternation in the fan base. You can hear the concern. You don't want to fall behind in a Game 7. You don't want to be chasing, but that's where they find themselves. And it's only going to get worse unless Clemens can do business here. He's got one away, and he's working to Ozzie Smith with Mays on second. Wind in the pitch. Little looper, center field coming in as Mays. He'll make the grab. Runner will bluff a move to third. Won't go. 2 out now. And a huge moment in this game. A huge moment in this series. So we've got Clemens versus Tris Speaker, and we're definitely going to use our matchup analyzer for it. Oh boy, and the crowd really jumping into it. Advantage definitely to the batter here. Clemens gets a little walk happy against left-handed batters. His whip skies up to 1.52, but the Silvers and their faithful really need him to come through here in this moment. Full count. The pitch. Line drive up the middle, base hit. Willie Mays around third. He's going to try to score, and he will. Brooks Robinson heads to third. Make it 2-0 Brick Green Dragons, and quiet the Silvers fans right away. Bottom 6, Shoeless Joe comes up, and he crushes one to right field. That's a base hit for Shoeless Joe. A leadoff single, and the Silvers need more where that came from. They are down 2. The very next batter is Rogers Hornsby. He's got a 3-0 count. The pitch. And he walked him. Silvers fans love it. That brings up Willie Mays. It's a 1-2 count on Mays. Huge moment in this game. The pitch. Strike 3 called. A huge strikeout out of the hand of Walter Johnson as he sits Willie Mays down in this ballpark custom designed for Mays to thrive in. A huge strikeout and a huge first out in this 6th inning. That brings up Barry Bonds, and it brings back the crowd. Crowd is waiting for a big moment here. Crowd is waiting for that first run, that first breakthrough for the Silvers. 0-2 count on Bonds. The pitch. Grounder to short. Across and in time. Fielded by the third baseman due to the shift. Goes across to first. Did not have a play at second. That's going to give us second and third and 2 away as Brooks Robinson comes to the plate. Now let's remember, Brooks Robinson, formerly of Fire Brooks Robinson, he had just about as hot of a games 1 through 3 as anyone could have, has been somewhat quiet in 4 through 6. But here in Game 7, he represents the go-ahead run in a stadium designed for him to thrive, going up against a pitcher not too likely to strike him out, definitely not on this 3-1 count. What can Brooks Robinson do here up in the count 3-1? The pitch. Ground ball to third. Across the diamond and in time. Ending the rally for the Silvers. They come away with nothing. They leave 2 runners on. And the score is still 2-1 Green Dragons. Bottom 7. Silvers right back at it. They fought hard in the 6th, and now they will fight harder in the 7th. They'll start off this inning with Roy Campanella. And he's working a leadoff walk. Fans love that. Fans love that. Up comes Honus Wagner, and man, these Silvers fans can't be quieted. 1-0 count on him, the pitch. And he bunts! Gets it past the pitcher. Pitcher chases it down, able to throw it on over to first and get the first out of the inning. Campanella does advance to second base. You don't often see the sacrifice bunt employed when you're down 2 runs. It could have been bunting for a hit. He is a speedster. But nonetheless, we have Campanella now in scoring position with 1 away for an icy cold Ty Cobb. So icy the fans don't even get going before the pitch. 2-2 count. That ball, fly ball to right, kind of lazy. Campy's going to go tag. He will not try to advance. Unproductive out off the bat of Ty Cobb. And that ends the 8th inning. So the Silvers are down to their final wraps. They've had an incredible season. They were a top team in their conference in runs scoring. They were a top team in their conference in runs allowed. They have good defense. They won 69% of their home games. And now they are down to their final wraps. They need to find 2 runs in the next 3 outs, or the dream is done, at least for 2064. But you and I both know the fans are going to be behind them. And it's a full count for Bonds. You'd love to see, if you're a Silvers fan, you'd love to see him work a walk here to lead off this night. Full count. Mariano on relief. The pitch, driven to deep right field, giving chases to right fielder. That ball's gone! Barry Bonds leads off this 9th inning with a 375-foot blast, making this a 1-run game. Fans are going crazy. The fireworks going off beyond the stadium. Very next batter is Brooks Robinson, and these fans aren't slowing down. A pinch, 0-2 count on Brooks. The pitch, line drive up the middle, base hit. The outfield was playing no doubles, and they'll be able to cut that one off and keep Brooks to a single. But the tying run now aboard with nobody out. Up next is Roy Campanella. 2-2 count on him. The pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. A huge first out for Mariano Rivera as he tries to navigate the rest of this ninth inning. Next up, Honus Wagner. We've seen him come up time and time again in this series with some big hits, and the Silvers are asking more for him right now. The pitch. Line drive up the middle, kind of lazy. Mays comes in, makes the grab, and the dream is down to the final out here. And who is it going to be in the form of? It's Ty Cobb. It's icy Ty Cobb, best hitter in the game. Best hitter in the game versus right-hand pitching. Look at it in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. There's no one else you'd rather have up there than this guy right here. It's icy Cobb. That's the downside, but it's still Cobb. He's still the guy that hits 870 versus right-hand pitching. He's still the guy that can walk this off, flip this game on a dime, and have them lighting fireworks in UConn for the next decade. Full count. The pitch from Mariano Rivera. He walked him! Ty Cobb, I didn't know. I didn't know if it was a called strike 3 or a walk, but it's a walk. And they're now at first and second, bringing up Nap LaJoy. 1-2 count on Nap. The pitch, swing and a miss, strike 3. And that will do it, folks. The Brick Green Dragons, with high drama and high leverage, are able to get the needed outs and put the hammer in the coffin of the UConn Silvers, who fought admirably well, but were unable to get the big hit in the big moment. And that's going to do it. We're going to give the Brick Green Dragons some fireworks for a job well done, even though they're not at home today. Oh, what a World Series. Let's take one look at the box and then get you guys to DishNet. I do not want to stand between him and a good night's rest. So, as expected, we've got Clemens with a gem. We've got Walter Johnson with a gem. It's just Walter Johnson was a little bit better. Brooks, Feller, and Rivera did the job. Did the job well enough to close it down in the pen. Let's see who won MVP. It was Ty Cobb. The Brick Green Dragons, Ty Cobb, who had 12 hits in the series and 29 at-bats. 1 home run, 2 ribbies. OPS over 1. What a series. Well, I thank you all for joining. I know we're kind of abruptly sending you off here, but we've gone well over the expected time allotment. But thank you all for joining. A great time tonight. Great World Series. I wish they all went 7, and we're coming down to 1 run in the last inning. But we will see you guys next Sunday, and let us hope for an even better, more high drama finish then. Take care, guys.